It once housed the tallest buildings at the East Tennessee Technology Park. Now the site of the former centrifuge complex is cleared and ready for industrial development. The centrifuge complex was one of the final collection of buildings to be demolished as workers completed the first ever cleanup of a former uranium enrichment plant last year. Crews were able to tear down the buildings in less than 8 months after deactivation was completed. Left behind from the cleanup was a massive concrete slab spanning an area that could cover 4 football fields.
It was roughly around 235,000 square feet of concrete that we were tasked with removing, at which point we then started site restoration and brought in just over 65,000 cubic yards of clean backfill to restore the site. Fortunately, we were allowed to use some clean fill off of another project here at the ETTP site, and it saved this project right around $200,000. You can see here beside me, it was a very successful project. A lot of that is attributed to our skilled workforce. Those guys are phenomenal, and if not for them, we would not be successful in completing this project.
Removing the slab and restoring the site is another significant step in EM's efforts to transform ETTP into a multi-use industrial park. An extensive piping replacement project designed to extend the life of the Liquid and Gaseous Waste Operations System, or LGWO, is underway at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. At Building 3608, the Process Waste Treatment Complex, crews recently kicked off replacement of remaining above-ground piping. These upgrades will alleviate the need for constant maintenance and repair of the aging infrastructure built during the early days of the Manhattan Project. LGWO is comprised of 3 waste treatment systems that collect, treat, and reduce the volume of liquid waste. These wastes are generated from various projects across ORNL. The current project, when complete, will replace over a mile of above-ground piping and valves, making the system more efficient and reliable. The project is valued at $18 million and will take approximately 2 years to complete. At ORNL's former radioisotope development laboratory, Building 3026, crews are busy profiling and characterizing the facility's remaining hot cell. Workers recently added a containment tent inside a 6-story protective structure. It gives characterization crews a place to transition outside the hot cell. One of the tools being used to perform characterization is a germanium gamma ray imager, which is used to detect, identify, and locate sources of gamma-emitting radioisotopes. It is able to identify the potential location of radiation sources by using a camera to capture an image of the environment and then overlay the radiation image onto the captured picture. Once the characterization is completed, the project will shift to the safe removal of materials and other necessary measures to prepare the structure for demolition next year. Work resumed at the Y-12 Old Criticality Experiment Laboratory, Building 9213, in September. The facility was placed in a cold and dark state in May. Over the summer, UCOR developed plans for sampling hazards and handling and disposing of deactivation waste. Now, crews are characterizing the facility to determine levels and locations of hazardous waste throughout the old laboratory, while other workers are removing universal waste. In the coming months, crews will be removing asbestos-containing materials throughout the facility. The 2-story, 24,000 square foot facility was built in 1949, and it was used until 1992. On September 6, 1955, before the Clinton 12 and Little Rock 9, the Oak Ridge 85 became the first black students to integrate a public school in the Southeast. In early September, UCOR was proud to be a sponsor of the Scholarship Awards Banquet honoring the Oak Ridge 85. Representatives also took part in community events with a booth that provided an opportunity to meet with community members and introduce UCOR's workforce development programs and career opportunities.
Stay tuned to see the progress we make next month, and follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter.